What? Did y'all really think I was going to leave you in the dark after they nerfed slicing ammo? What's happening, YouTube? Cowboy here, and welcome back to Monster Hunter World. And today, we're taking a look at my updated light bowgun build. Now, they may have nerfed slicing ammo, but they are not going to nerf our urge to fill the target full of bullets and have it writhing on the ground, begging for its life. And the first thing I want to point out is our upgrades. Would you check out the fashion here? We look absolutely fantastic, and it is important to look good while hunting. I think we can all agree to that. But I'm sure you're all wondering, how effective is this build? How does it compare to slicing? And the answer is quite simply, it can do better. It has the potential to do better than the slicing ammo build if you can hit all your shots. That's right, kiddies. It's time to get good. But anyway, the first thing I want to do is a damage comparison test. Now, I've already run these numbers, but just for the sake of science, I'm going to bring them to you. Slicing ammo, which used to be the end-all be-all ammo type, used to have 7 slices, used to do big dick damage. Well, guess what? Capcom took it, bent it over, and ravaged it like a fresh bum the first night in jail. Now we are looking at 70 damage per slice. 70! Compared to before where we were seeing like 115, 120. Now, with that in mind, slicing is still kind of OP. You can still shoot blank range and do damage. You can still shoot way far and do damage. But the damage itself is lower. Regardless, slicing will still be used with this build to a certain extent. Our main damage dealer, normal ammo to rapid fire. When you're at that sweet spot range where we are right now, you see that? You see those numbers? 104 damage. 104 damage on rapid fire with a fast reload. 70 for slicing, 104 for normal. Spread ammo 1. Look at that. I know you can't read those numbers, but it's doing 99 in total. Assuming crits, which we have a lot of crit, 99 damage coming out. And then our new big dick damage, spread ammo 3. With a full round of crits, we do 161 damage in a single burst. Boom, 161. Boom, 161. Now, the one important thing to note is with spread ammo, we obviously have that kickback. And if we start right up on the target and we're just spamming it and spamming it and spamming it, by the final shot, we're too far. You can see we have whiffs there. We had 2s. So what you need to do when you're firing away your spread ammo, hold just a second on shooting it and then move up. See how I waited just a split second before firing to move back up and I still had that sweet spot? That's all you got to do. Now these are going to be the main 4 ammos this build utilizes. Spread 3, slicing, normal 2, and spread 1. Normal 2 is our main go-to ammo. It's fast to reload. As long as we're hitting the target in the face, we are consistently doing more damage than slicing. On top of that, it's important to note that while slicing only had 30 rounds, this has 99. And you can carry shit to craft it. You could bring 200 rounds into battle if you wanted to, which you're not going to need, but you can. But so the big thing is we have the sweet spot with normal 1 right here. If we get too close with normal 1, you'll see the damage starts whiffing. So if you're right up on the target, swap up to spread 1. We're still for just a second, but we still have the damage. And it's close. It's 104 to 99. So it's comparative damage if we're on something's face. If the target has an aura, now this is mainly for things like Teostra or Kieran, where we see the Elder Aura with the lightning, or the Elder Aura with the flame. Normal 2 won't do dick. Unless you hit him directly in the face with every shot, you're not doing anything. And that's where slicing ammo is going to come in. Against Elder Auras, pull out the slicing ammo. It's not our main contender, that's why we've obviously switched our light bowgun. We're not using Gulageth's Whale anymore, but it is still effective because slicing ammo is not mitigated by Elder Auras. And then lastly, as I mentioned, spread shot 3. This is what we go to targets on the ground. We're going to run on up. We're going to put down our weapon blasts. And then we're going to boom. We're going to nudge forward a little bit and boom. And we're going to nudge forward a little bit and boom. And we're going to nudge forward a little bit and boom. And we're going to nudge forward a little bit more. And we're out of ammo, so it doesn't matter. Now, I would suggest going to spread ammo 3 when you're on the face. However, spread ammo 1, of course, can also be used. The knockback is much less, so you can spam it out more. But that's entirely up to you. It depends which one you feel more comfortable with. Now that we've covered how to play with the new setup, let's look into the setup itself. Looking into the ammo, the first thing you'll notice, of course, is a new bowgun with the Cataclysm's trigger. Now, this is the Near Gigante path bowgun. It's the very top path. You go all the way down, drop 1, shoot to the right, and you make this. You'll also notice our mods. We're going for reload assist, close range up. Now that close range up is going to be very significant in boosting the damage of our spread shot. And an important thing to note is you want one close range up. In testing, I found that going to a close range up number 2 and a close range up number 3, we actually see really minimal returns. The damage increase we have from no close range up to having one close range up is actually pretty hefty. It's in the range of about 10-15%. But adding additional close range up mods gives us minimal returns. So we're going to want double reload assist, and in particular double reload assist is going to be nice because getting double reload assist, it's going to pull our normal 2 into a fast reload and our spread 1 into a fast reload. Moving on from there, of course, some other things. We've lost access to the higher end piercing ammos, though that's not completely terrible. Piercing was buffed, so piercing 1 is a viable choice on long monsters. We've also lost access to poison and exhaust, but be honest, you probably didn't use those. We have access to recover now, which is great in a multiplayer setting. Looks like somebody's about to die, hit him with some recover ammo, heal him on up. We also have water ammo, which makes no sense, we're not going to use it. Dragon and slicing we both still have, but we're down to 2 on each. But these are sacrifices I'm willing to make to have access to spread 1 and normal 2 rapid fire. Now I know the first thing somebody's going to ask is, what other light bowgun can I use? If you want, not that, you can use Karma. Now an important thing to note here is we get 30% affinity baked into this, which is nice, but the attack is 234 compared to 260. That's significant, guys. There's no other way to look at it. That's significant. Some other things, of course, with Karma, we lose access to spread 3, we gain access to piercing 3. So if you have access to Karma and you want to use it, it's a decent one to work with until you make your way up to Cataclysm's Trigger. Moving on from there, Awakening Charm level 2. This is what is giving us our ammo up level 2 bonus, pretty straightforward. Moving on from there, Dragon King Eyepatch. I know I had this in the last build, and to be honest, guys, this is going to be dropped into just about every build I do, because Weakness Exploit is so incredibly powerful, especially in the case of light bowguns, where you just point and shoot and you can very easily hit weak points. Moving on from there, Xeno'jiiva Hide, Claws, and Spine, all the beta types. Now the main reason for this, of course, is we're going to want the 3 of these to pick up Spare Shot. We don't give a shit about Blight Resistance or Flinch Free or Power Prolonger. Power Prolonger actually doesn't do anything for us. Flinch Free and Blight Resistance, yeah, whatever, they're okay. But Power Prolonger isn't doing dick. But you're still going to want to have the beta because of the 2 gem slots versus the alpha where we would max Blight Resistance, but be honest, it doesn't really matter. And moving on to the coup d'etat, the most important piece, the Lavasiaf Greaves. Now, you actually have a little bit of freedom with your choice here. You can run Lavasiaf Greaves, or alternatively, you can run Diablos Nero Greaves. As you can see, we have a significant fashion malfunction going to these. Just for the sake of comparison, with my numbers, the numbers you just saw me using earlier, with the spread shot burst, we saw 104 on normal, 99 on spread 1 rapid, 161 on spread 3. With the Diablos Nero Greaves and the normal shots up, we saw 112 on normal 2, we saw 93 on spread 1, and we saw 147 on spread 3. So really it's going to come down to, do you want to max min that much? For the sake of comparison, they both have a level 2 decoration slot, so they are fairly easily interchangeable. However, I find a lot more value in my spread shot than my normal shot, hence why I prefer the Lavasiaf Greaves. However, if you want to go for the normal shots, pull out the Diablo. Go for it. Moving on from there, let's go into the decorations. Now, the first thing I want to point out are the level 1 decorations. We have 3 Expert and 1 Gobbler. The only reason I have Gobbler is I have nothing better to put in that slot. If you have 4 attack gems, which I would go ahead and bet most of my retirement that none of you do, at least at the moment I'm uploading this, maybe a couple months from now. But if you have 4 attack gems, go ahead and slot 4 attack gems. You're going to get a nice attack increase. On top of that, you're also going to get a little bit of affinity. If you don't, 3 Experts is a decent alternative. That's going to give us 10% critical hit. So having 10% affinity from there, we have 2 Mighty Jewels, which gives us 10% affinity while stamina is full. And we basically never use stamina with a light bowgun. We only use it when dodging. So between the double mighty and the expert, that's 30% affinity right there. We have the tenderizer in the Dragon King Eyepatch giving us the 50, all in all putting us at an 80% chance to critically hit the target. Now ideally, pre-nerf, back when we had Gulagoth's Whale has a level 2 gem slot where we were going to drop another Mighty Jewel and put us at the 90% chance and then augment it to put us at 100% chance. Unfortunately, Capcom decided slicing was not for this world and it was no longer needed, and hence they removed it. That's okay though. Things are still okay. We can still do damage. We can still kill just fine. Of course, the release Jewel level 3, good luck finding one of these. It took frickin' forever to get this thing. I was starting to believe it was actually a myth and didn't actually exist. But we finally have one. So, all in all, you pull everything together. We have Xeno Jiva's Divinity at level 3 for spare shot. Ammo up at level 3 to expand our clips. Critical Eye for 10% affinity. Weakness X point for 50 on weak points. Maximum Might for another 20%. Spread shots up. Those are the main staples of this build. Now, the main goal of this build is this is supposed to be your all-rounder. Just about any general hunt you're going to go on, this will get the job done without issue. If you're hunting a Rathalos, you'll beat his ass. You're hunting Anjanath, you'll beat his ass. You're hunting Diablos, you'll beat his ass. However, elemental ammo was buffed and is viable now with a particular setup. Would I suggest using a rapid-fire elemental bowgun with this build? No, I would not. There's a whole different build you'd want to use for elemental ammo, specifically because you need a 2-piece of the Rathalos set bonus to boost the damage of elemental damage crits. And without that, elemental ammo is still kind of dookie. You need that, and you need rapid fire to see decent returns on elemental ammo. So don't use this build with elemental ammo. This build is also completely viable for heavy bowguns. Especially with the slicing nerf, if you want to work in a heavy bowgun, you can quite easily work any heavy bowgun you want into this build. And once again, just to reiterate some of the main things here, we have spare shot, we have ammo up, and then with all of our crit potential, we have an 80% critical hit chance hitting something in the head. So ideally, I like Cataclysm's Trigger because it's the highest attack we're going to get out of the various light bowguns. However, you can really use any bowgun you want with this. You don't have to use Cataclysm's Trigger. The ideal thing here is you're going to want to try and have some rapid fire, but you can get away without it if you so choose. So, now that we have gone through everything, let's jump into a fight. So the original plan was to do a different monster for every hunt I do, but given that this is supposed to be a apples to apples comparison of how this compares to the old build, now that slicing has been nerfed, we are going to be going after Kieran again. And take the things we need to take real fast. Kieran's actually a good example to showcase the differences of this, because the biggest thing is where slicing you get damage no matter what. Now, of course, against things like Kieran or alternatively things like Tio, they have that aura that we have to deal with, and dealing with that aura can be a pain. So, this will be good to show how we handle the aura when it is applicable. Ow, stop that, Kieran. And honestly, the biggest difference, of course, is we can't just perma-stagger a boss anymore. Whereas previously, that was basically what we did. We'd sit there and, you know, the boss would never be able to move because slicing ammo would keep it locked in place for the entirety of the fight. So it's going to be a little bit harder to hit all your shots. And Kieran's actually a tricky one in particular because, you know, we have a very small weak point with Kieran. If you're fighting something like a Betelgeuse or a Rathalos, where you have nice, big, hefty weak spots, this will work a lot better. On top of that, against bosses like that, you know, you don't need to worry about the aura because, you know, they're not Elder Dragons, so that aura doesn't even come into play. Ooh, alright, now this is good. So right now, how he's all lightninged up, that means he has his lightning aura. So for now, we are going to swap back to slicing, only because the slicing damage is not impacted by that change at all. Whereas the normal bullets, basically, they won't do dick. So I'll use slicing for a little bit. And this is the main reason that we're going to a different bowgun, is while we still had 3 shots of slicing with the Gulageth's Whale, you know, slicing is basically going to be our utility. It's if there's a lightning aura, or if we're trying to, well, not just lightning aura, but if the monster has an aura up, or alternatively, if we're trying to cut a tail off. Ooh. Aaron's trying to play that 4D chess, predicting where I'll go. Oh no! Oh man, close dodge there. And to be completely honest, if you wanted to still just spam slicing, you could run this exact build. And you could just run it with Gulageth's Whale, and you could still just spam slicing ammo. Personally, I'm kind of glad there was a change, only because, while being extremely effective, doing nothing but spamming slicing was pretty boring. But if that's what you want, feel free to go for it. Personally, I'm a big fan of the mix-up we got going on now. He's getting away. I don't think I'm going to be able to beat my old time now, not with him running like this. There we go. So I already know there's no way I'm close to what I was. The previous time we had on him was 4:28:51. I'm pretty sure we burned through I would say at least about a minute and a half just chasing him at the end there, so we're probably somewhere in the range of 6-7 minutes. But even then, I think the point is still made that even with the slicing nerf, we can still be viable. You know, at the end of the day, it's still a sub 10-minute kill on an Elder Dragon. The only difference is it's not so ridiculous to the point where we have it permanently staggered to the ground, writhing around in pain, which honestly was a little bit overkill for what's supposed to be an Elder Dragon. I think we can all agree to that. But either way, guys, that is the new build. Like I said, this is supposed to be a general utility build. It's supposed to be kind of your all-rounder. If you want to go for an elemental crit and a rapid-fire elemental light bowgun, that's something else entirely. I may do a build focused around that in the future, but for now at least, I will not be doing so. But either way, that's going to wrap up the build video for now. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and we will see you guys with our next one.